So we are back and we have done quite a substantial chunk of our double XP time. We are now down just under 35 hours. So you might be asking, for them 13 hours, what have you been doing on the account? And I'm not going to lie, I might have played those 13 hours a little bit wrong. So what I did for the first chunk of it was to go and work on invention. Now, I went to monitors, which have been very good for the AFK side, but it's got to a point now where I think I need to upgrade my spot, because I think the spot correlates to the kind of XP you get, and I think I can just go and find better XP. Not only that as well, I was using Black Dragon Hide when really I can actually upgrade one of the chest pieces, so I need to upgrade my armor. And not only that as well, I've forgotten about an item which I've recently discovered. I never used it on the main account, but it's going to be very beneficial for us. That's going to be an XP capacitator. Not only that as well, it is now time for me to spend some money. It's been a long time. The Grace of the Elves was the first real purchase where we made a lot of GP and decided to spend it. Now we're going to go and spend it on a little bit more as well. So what I've done, I've already put some offers in the Grand Exchange. I've already bought some things. So we started this buying spree. It's 100 mil. Now, what I've done first of all, I've bought some magic planks. Now, I know you guys sometimes get tired of me talking about magic frames, but basically they are just so good. And they're still selling for such a high price. Now, these are what I sold yesterday, and I've kind of missed out on a few mil. Not loads, but a few mil. But we've basically sold the last sort of stint of 1,000 magic frames, and I'll show you guys the profit very quickly. So we've roughly made 109 mil there, and if we look a little bit down here, we bought all that for 78. So we've made just under 30 mil from doing those 1,000 frames, but also because it was double XP, I use this as my construction training method. So we've just reached 90 construction, which is massive for a few things. One, looking forward, this is going to give us a massive boost when 120 construction's out. We'll be able to do so much more, and I really think that the house is going to be quite transformational for the gameplay, so that is really nice. I do think we'll eventually do some more. Maybe I'll actually go and spend some GP and we'll go and do some actual training with the 4-for-3 methods. But level 90 is really nice. So we can also do the large pens at Anachronia Farm, which is going to be nice. We'll eventually get there as well. We can upgrade the chapel to a tier 3, which can be a place for us to go and train our prayer XP if we wanted to. The benefit with 4-for-3 is you have a chance to save bones. Not as good as a gilded altar in your player own house, but it's still not too bad actually. It's a pretty decent method. And the next thing we can do as well is refined elder planks. Now, in my opinion, not really worth doing because the sort of investment cost is so high for it. But again, it could be a really good way to go make some money in the future if it opens up to that as well. So 90 construction is our first big 90 stat. And the reason why I've gone for planks instead of refined planks is because I think there's going to be a much bigger profit. So I've bought these roughly for like 2.5k each. So for me, I've just bought all those supplies for 10 mil. There might be the chance we can go and convert that into something like refined planks and make something like 20-25 mil. The price of refined planks in a minute are over 33k, which is why I've not bought them, because the profit really erodes into the frames. If they get cheap at some point and I can put in like a decent little offer, which I actually might do to be fair, I need to get out my 83 mil again because we'll go on a spending spree. And I'll put the offer in afterwards. So that's going to tick off something I'll do in my downtime, because what I am doing is like not always having my double XP on. Sometimes I'll turn it off, sometimes I'll put it on. We have also done a little bit of archaeology. So archaeology, if you didn't know, you get the artifacts twice as quick. And I kind of want to get in a little bit. If I can get to the Demonheim dig site before double XP is done, I can go and farm some of the DG tokens for a relatively decent pace, just in case that Dungeoneering rework doesn't really suit or isn't the best. I have a chance to really stock up on some tokens and possibly buy some rewards, which would be very good. Now, the other stuff, what am I buying? So I have bought Armadillo because I think Armadillo is going to be the correct move for us. I'm also going to go and buy some Vampirism gloves, because with Vampirism gloves and hopefully with the Blood Shard as well, this should be at a point where it should cover me and it shouldn't really cause me too much of an issue. Now, I'm not sure what the price of Vampirism gloves are. So we'll go and find this out together. So I'm going to leave those into the Grand Exchange. Same with the rest of the Armadillo sets, because I think that's going to be really nice for us to go and train as well. Things like XP capacitators are something as well, which I think are going to be something I want to try. Basically, these should give you like extra invention XP, which hopefully on a double XP should give you a little bit more. 2 mil for that is actually a pretty decent upgrade. Now, in terms of what I've got, I want to go and try the fetid zombies near 4-for-3 to go and do my combat. And hopefully by doing that, I'll be able to get more invention XP, get better training XP as well, and basically just level up my items quicker. Because again, that Salamander, I probably spent the best part of about 2 hours at Minotaurs, and the Salamander only really got to tier 8, nearly tier 9 to be fair, but I just thought it'd be quicker than what it was. It was quite a big time sink to be fair. So That is also something there, but we can augment the chest once we bought them. I'll buy the armadillo pieces, that's not a problem. I'm just wondering what the glove price is going to be and what I'm happy to buy. At the minute, I have the flexibility of I've made so much cash lately that I can go and splurge on items like this, so this is something we can go and do. At the minute, our welfare is saying over 300 mil, and considering when we bought the Grace of the Elves a couple of weeks ago, and I've not really played a lot since then, we were sort of like, it's 100 mil, so we've made an awful lot of money very, very quickly, simply just by doing those frames. So those frames, as you can see by my Grand Exchange history, we've been turning those over and being really consistent with it for a little while, and it's paid off. So I'm really happy that's worked. If I was to do another 1,000 frames, I could probably squeeze 92 construction, which again is really nice. I've got 34 hours, which kind of doesn't sound a lot, but it's definitely going to be a lot in terms of progression. I'm going to go and do a stint of Herblore because we've got these 0 potions and I want to sell those at a point as well. And I think when we get to Herblore, it'll be very, very quick. But I'm just trying to buy some items, especially these combat items, which are just going to pay over like a nice little bit of AFK. And those Vampirism gloves, I want them, but I don't want to be ripped off for them. So I'm just going to leave the offer in the Grand Exchange, see where they go, see what these sell for in the end, and pretty much move from there. Now, the only other thing I need to go and buy is some materials. So at the minute with double XP, you don't get as many materials, which is definitely something I can feel now. Now, the really nice thing about the thieving update and going on to like the archaeology professors is that the materials now are a bit of a better price to go and buy them as well. So this should hopefully give me a really nice bump, because what I'm hoping is that by simply just doing this method and ticking off all the requirements for the auto screener, I should hopefully get to the level I want. 73 is going to be the level you're going to need to be able to do the Demonheim set. And once we get to that Demonheim set, it just means that we've got a nice AFK for the future and also a good way for token farming. But I have a really bad feeling at the rework that they're going to go and take that away and you're going to have to do pure DG for the tokens, which don't get me wrong, that's the purpose and that's what it should be. I just kind of want to take advantage while it's something which is a little bit easier, way more AFK, and because it's on double XP, I'm going to go and get the artifacts a lot quicker. Why it's like that, I'm going to try and cash in and get the most out of it as well. But I'm going to spend probably about 10 mil just on materials, and it's going to hopefully give me a nice big bump. The artifacts actually don't get double XP, it's the rate at which you get the artifacts, which is double, which is quite a nice thing, and especially if you got some of the challenges for your artifact rank to go and get some artifacts, worthwhile doing. So yeah, that is pretty much going to go and be the plan. So I'm just going to spend this, and then in terms of what I'll do afterwards, I'm going to throw an offer in for some refined planks, but put them in a much cheaper offer. I'm going to sort of put an offer in for about 26k. By doing that, I'm going to save myself 12 mil before I even make a frame, so that's worthwhile doing. I'm going to try and reduce the amount I mention frames, because I know it's something I go on about an awful lot, and I just want to sort of, whenever I mention it, just to make sure you guys know about it, just so you can make a little bit more GP with it as well. So I'm going to go and buy the rest of these supplies. Going to go and restore my artifacts. Again, I'm not really going to get a high level. If I get level 50, I'll be happy with that. At level 60, I might treat myself to a Dragonmatic because you can augment it, which is really nice. One thing I would say as well, the Jackalope Familiar is 10-10 for low-level archaeology. It actually uses your porter charges. So because I've got a Great CVLs, it uses the porter charges to go and bank the materials rather than store it in with itself, which means it's pretty much infinite as long as you've got enough of the Familiars. One thing I would say though is I think it could have just been a little bit longer on the timer. To be 16 minutes, it's just a little bit short in my opinion. It could definitely have been a bit longer in terms of its timer, but I really can't complain with it. It seems to be very decent. And something else which is decent while we're on the subject is that the prices of these artifact materials aren't that high. Like normally with a double XP, they can be extremely high, and these are probably the ones which are going to have to be extremely high. You know, the ones which you're struggling to buy. But in the most part, these have been relatively well priced. So yeah, the Jackalope, 10 out of 10, big fan. It uses your charges, just sort of like hoped it could be a bit longer in terms of how long it's around for. But apart from that, I'm going to go and buy these archaeology materials. I'm going to go to the workbench and then go fix them all up. And then we'll report back in a little bit what we decide to do. But in terms of what I've got lined up next, Herblore, I've got about 2,000 super attack potions to make, which should get me like mid-60s hopefully. I've got some magic planks, which are not a high priority, but I'm going to turn those into refined planks. And then I'm going to put an offer in for refined planks, which I'm hopefully going to turn into frames. We're going to go for a bit of a low ball offer. Other skills which are going to be invested in, summoning. We've got pretty much most of the summoning items needed, but we can just stock up on all that. And also fletching. I'm going to buy some arrow supplies. Fletching should hopefully be exceptionally quick. I'm thinking maybe go to like 80-ish, but if we can go further, we'll go further. And then depending on what prices are, I might also spend a little bit on crafting as well. However, that is my 13 hours in reports. I have rambled for an exceptionally long time. So with this and the first part of double XP, I'm probably going to wrap the video up here, and this is going to be the first chunk of double XP. We'll report back in a couple of hours, maybe like the next 13, 14 hours of what we've done next, but that is pretty much where we are and where the goal is. The cash stack is way beyond what I thought it would be or what I'd hope it would be, but with how well things are selling, I might continue to do a little bit of construction, then pump in money into other stuff as well. When you see the combat side, you'll see how much of an upgrade we've made in terms of the armors and stuff, and I think the AFK ability of fetid zombies should hopefully be a really nice upgrade. We're going to wrap the video there. Thank you so much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys very soon in the next video.